Before we start, a quick reality check. The information in this video is for educational purposes. It's a strategic blueprint, not a get-rich-quick scheme. I can't guarantee your results because I can't do the work for you. What I can guarantee is that if you ignore the shift we're about to break down, your business will be in serious trouble. The agents who act on this will have an almost criminal advantage over those who don't. So let's get you that advantage. Imagine it's a Tuesday morning in 2026. You just listed a beautiful 4-bedroom colonial. You did everything right. The professional photos are stunning, the description is perfect, the price is dialed in. You posted on the MLS, Zillow, everywhere. And then a crickets. A few clicks, maybe a like or two. But the phone isn't ringing. Your inbox is empty. Meanwhile, your competitor across town, Sarah, lists a similar house. But she did one thing differently. And by lunchtime, she has 3 tour requests from pre-approved, out-of-state buyers, a dozen inquiries from locals, and a seller who saw her listing and called her begging, "Can you do that for my house?" The one thing she did differently? It wasn't better photos. It wasn't a lower price. It was a 360-degree virtual tour. And in 2026, that one thing is the difference between a listing that sits and a listing that sells. It's the difference between being a neighborhood agent and being a dominant market force. You're here because you feel it. You feel the ground shifting beneath your feet. The old playbook, great photos, an open house, and a sign in the yard is starting to feel, well, old. It's getting less effective every single day. You're spending more time, more money, and more energy to get the same or even worse results. You're dealing with an endless parade of tire kickers at your open houses, buyers who flake on showings, and sellers who are interviewing 5 other agents and asking you, "So what makes you different?" This video is your answer to that question. This isn't just about a cool piece of tech. This is about fundamentally rewiring your business to attract better clients, sell homes faster, and win more listings in a market that is becoming brutally competitive. By the end of this presentation, you will know exactly why a 360 tour is no longer a luxury, but the single most critical asset for your listings. You will understand the deep psychological triggers it pulls in a buyer's brain. And you'll have a clear roadmap to making this technology the cornerstone of your brand, turning you into the go-to, high-tech agent in your market that every seller wants to hire. Let's get one thing straight. This isn't a fad. This is an acceleration of a trend that was already happening. The world has changed. Buyers have changed. Think about it. We no longer go to a store to see if a shirt fits. We order 3 sizes from Amazon and send 2 back. We don't go to a restaurant without looking at photos of the food on Yelp first. We live in an on-demand, try-before-you-buy world. And the biggest purchase of a person's life is the last industry to catch up. But it's catching up fast. Millennial and Gen Z buyers, who now make up the largest segment of home buyers in the United States, don't just prefer digital experiences. They expect them. Their entire lives have been lived through a screen. To them, a listing with only 25 static photos is like a restaurant with no menu online. Suspicious. Feels incomplete. Feels like you're hiding something. They will scroll right past it without a second thought. This is a phenomenon I call digital invisibility. Your listing can be perfect, but if it doesn't meet the modern buyer's expectation for immersion and transparency, it might as well not exist. It's invisible. And here's the brutal truth your broker might not be telling you. Zillow knows this. Redfin knows this. The big tech players are conditioning buyers to expect this level of detail. They are actively prioritizing listings with 3D tours in their search algorithms. They know these listings get more engagement, more saves, and result in more qualified leads. So, if you're not playing the game by their rules, you're not just losing a buyer's attention, you're being actively penalized by the very platforms you rely on to run your business. You are being pushed down the search results, buried beneath the agents who have adapted. By 2026, not having a 360 tour will be the equivalent of having black and white, blurry photos today. It's an immediate disqualifier. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds expensive. Or, my clients aren't asking for it. Or, I sell houses just fine with photos. Let's dismantle that thinking right now because it's a trap. First, the cost. The cost of a 360 tour has plummeted. What used to cost thousands of dollars can now be done for a few hundred, often less than you pay for professional photos. But framing it as a cost is the wrong way to think about it. It's not an expense. It's an investment with a staggering return. It's an investment in getting your time back from pointless showings. It's an investment in attracting buyers from outside your local area. massively expanding your buyer pool. Most importantly, it's an investment in your brand that wins you your next listing and the one after that. The real question isn't, what does a 360 tour cost? The real question is, what is the cost of not having one? What is the cost of a listing sitting on the market for an extra 30 days? What's the cost of losing a six-figure commission because a seller chose the agent with the better marketing plan? That cost is catastrophic. As for my clients aren't asking for it, they are. They just don't know the words to use. When a seller asks, how are you going to market my home to the widest possible audience? When a buyer says, I'm too busy to see a dozen homes this weekend, they are asking for a virtual tour. They are asking for a solution that respects their time and leverages technology to make their life easier. They don't know the brand name, but they know the problem they have. And when you walk into a listing presentation and you're the only agent who offers this as a standard part of your marketing package, you immediately position yourself as the expert, the professional, the one who is ahead of the curve. You stop competing on commission and start competing on value. To truly understand why this is so powerful, we have to go beyond the tech and into human psychology. What does a 360 tour actually do to a potential buyer's brain? Static photos create appreciation. A buyer looks at a beautiful photo of a kitchen and says, that's a nice kitchen. But a virtual tour creates something far more powerful. It creates presence. When a buyer can independently control their view, when they can walk from the living room to the kitchen, look up at the ceiling, look down at the hardwood floors, and spin around to see the view out the window, their brain is tricked into feeling like they are actually there. This isn't just a viewing. It's an experience. This experience triggers a powerful psychological phenomenon known as the endowment effect. It's the same principle that makes you feel more attached to something once you've held it in your hands. By virtually walking through the home, by exploring its nooks and crannies on their own terms, buyers begin to develop a sense of psychological ownership. It stops being a house and starts becoming their house. They start mentally placing their furniture in the living room. They imagine cooking Thanksgiving dinner in that kitchen. They've already moved in their minds before they ever step foot through the physical door. This emotional connection is something that a flat, two-dimensional photograph can never, ever replicate. And this connection is what transforms a casual browser into a highly motivated, emotionally invested buyer who is ready to make a serious offer. They aren't just coming to a showing anymore. They are coming to confirm the decision they've already made. Now let's flip the camera around. Let's stop talking about the buyer for a second and talk about you, the agent. Because that buyer, the one who is emotionally invested and ready to make a move, didn't just magically appear. They were qualified. They were filtered. They were nurtured. And it all happened before you ever had to spend a single dollar on gas or a single minute of your weekend driving across town. This is the hidden genius of the 360 virtual tour. It's not just a marketing tool for the buyer. It's the single most powerful lead qualification and time-saving machine an agent can deploy in their business. Let's be brutally honest for a moment. What is the most finite, most valuable, and most ruthlessly squandered resource in your entire business? It's your time. Every hour you spend staging a home for a showing, driving to meet a client, and walking them through a property that you know deep down isn't right for them, is an hour you can never get back. It's an hour you could have spent prospecting for your next six-figure commission, negotiating a deal, or just being with your family. We call them tire kickers. The just lookers. The couple who has been casually browsing for 2 years with no real intention of buying. They book a showing because the photos look nice and hey, it's a fun way to spend a Saturday afternoon. For them, it's a hobby. For you, it's a time vampire, sucking the lifeblood out of your business and your personal life. Think about your last 10 physical showings. How many of them were for buyers who were truly serious, ready, and able to make a competitive offer? 3, 2, maybe only 1. That means for 70, 80, even 90% of your in-person work, you were essentially providing a free, personalized entertainment service. That is a fundamentally broken business model. And by 2026, it will be an extinct one. Why? Because the market is shifting under our feet. The next wave of homebuyers, millennials and Gen Z, are not just digital first, they are digital native. They don't just prefer to do their initial research online. It's the only way they know how to operate. They vet restaurants on Yelp, doctors on ZocDoc, and their future spouse on Hinge. They absolutely expect to be able to vet their single largest lifetime purchase from their couch at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. If your listing doesn't allow them to do that, you are not just an inconvenience, you are irrelevant. You don't even exist in their consideration set. They will swipe past your listing with the same casual indifference as a bad dating profile. This is where the 360 tour ceases to be a gimmick and becomes your gatekeeper. It acts as a silent 24/7 assistant that works for you for free after you've made the initial investment. It separates the curious from the committed. The curious browser will spend 5 minutes clicking through the tour. They'll see the kitchen isn't quite as open as they'd hoped, or that the primary bedroom doesn't have the western-facing window they dreamed of. And then, they close the tab. And that is a massive victory for you. That person just disqualified themselves without costing you a single second of your time. That's a phone call you didn't have to make, a dozen texts you didn't have to send, and a 2-hour block on your Saturday that you just got back. Multiply that by dozens of unqualified leads per listing, and you've literally reclaimed weeks of your life over the course of a year. But the committed buyer? The one for whom the home is a genuine contender? They don't spend 5 minutes in the virtual tour. They spend 25. They walk through the living room and imagine where their couch will go. They stand in the spare bedroom and mentally convert it into a nursery or a home office. They go back to the kitchen 3 different times, measuring the space between the island and the refrigerator with their eyes. They are doing the emotional work of moving in before they've ever requested a key. So when that person finally picks up the phone to call you, the conversation is completely different. It's not, "Hey, can I see this house?" It's, "I've spent a lot of time in the virtual tour of 123 Main Street. I noticed the HVAC unit is on the north side of the house. Can you tell me its age? And I'm pre-approved up to 800,000. When is the soonest we can get inside to confirm my measurements? Do you feel the difference?" That is not a lead. That is a client. That is a buyer on the 1-yard line, ready to make a deal. The physical showing is no longer a tour of discovery. It's a final confirmation. Formality. You've gone from being a tour guide to being a transaction facilitator. You're not there to sell the house. The virtual tour already did that for you. You're there to write the contract. This is the fundamental shift that is coming for every single agent in the United States. By 2026, the expectation won't be that you have great photos. That's table stakes. The expectation will be that you provide a seamless, on-demand, fully immersive digital open house for every single listing. Sellers will demand it because they don't want their homes endlessly paraded through by non-buyers. And buyers will demand it because their time is just as valuable as yours. Agents who resist this will find themselves on a hamster wheel of inefficiency. They'll be running around, showing properties, burning gas, and burning out, all while their competition is closing deals from their home office with buyers from 3 states away. These forward-thinking agents understand that the goal is not to get more showings. The goal is to get more qualified showings. It's about quality over quantity. It's about leveraging technology to do the heavy lifting so you can focus on the 2 things that actually make you money: negotiation and closing. Think of it like this. In the past, your marketing funnel was wide and shallow. You'd blast a listing out there with pretty pictures and hope for the best, dealing with a flood of low-quality inquiries that drained your energy. The 360 tour flips the funnel. It makes it deep and narrow. It acts as a powerful filter right at the top, ensuring that only the most dedicated, most qualified, most emotionally connected buyers are the ones who end up consuming your personal time. It respects the buyer's time, it respects the seller's privacy, and most importantly, it respects your expertise. Because you're not just a person who opens doors. You are a skilled professional, a negotiator, a market expert. And every moment you spend on a pointless showing is a moment you're not leveraging those high-value skills. The question you have to ask yourself isn't, "Can I afford to add 360 tours to my marketing?" The question you need to be asking as we barrel towards 2026 is, how much longer can I afford not to? Because your time is the one asset you can't buy more of, but with the right strategy you can stop giving it away for free. Let's put a face to this problem. Let's talk about a realtor named Sarah. Sarah is a top producer in a hyper-competitive market, let's say Austin, Texas. And on paper she's crushing it. 6 figures in GCI, a wall of awards, a constant stream of referrals. But if you were to ask Sarah, really ask her, how she feels at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday night after her 3rd set of buyers just said, "We need to sleep on it," she'd tell you she feels like she's drowning. Her day started at 6 a.m., not with a peaceful cup of coffee, but with a frantic check of Zillow leads that came in overnight. She spent an hour crafting the perfect, personalized emails, knowing most would never even get a reply. Then came the drive across town, fighting that brutal I-35 traffic, to a 10:30 showing. The buyers were nice enough, but they walked in and you could see it on their faces in the first 10 seconds. The layout just wasn't for them. Something they could have easily seen from a floor plan or better yet, from a virtual walkthrough. But they didn't have one. So that was 45 minutes of her life plus an hour and a half of round-trip driving just gone. Vaporized. Her 1 o'clock appointment was a no-show. Didn't answer the call. Didn't reply to the text. Just ghosted. So Sarah sat in her car in a vacant driveway, eating a protein bar for lunch and trying to reschedule a septic inspection for another property. Then, another crosstown drive for a 4 o'clock showing. This couple loved the house. They spent an hour opening every closet, measuring walls, talking about where the sofa would go. This was it. This was the one. They were buzzing with excitement. They promised to talk it over that night and send an offer in the morning. Sarah drove home feeling that familiar, cautious optimism. The next morning, a text message. We loved it. But we just saw another house that popped up online that has a slightly bigger backyard. We want to see that one first. And just like that, the momentum was gone. This is the silent killer of a real estate career. It's not the tough negotiations. It's not the market shifts. It's the death by 1,000 cuts. It's the endless parade of tire kickers, the we're just looking, the maybe buyers. It's the hours spent in traffic, the gas money, the wear and tear on your car and your soul. All in service of people who aren't actually ready, willing, and able to buy the house you're showing them. Every hour you spend with an unqualified or unserious buyer is an hour you can't spend prospecting for new listings. It's an hour you can't spend negotiating a contract for a serious client. It's an hour you can't spend with your family at the gym, or just turning your brain off for a minute. For Sarah, the breaking point came on a Saturday. Her son had a championship Little League game, the biggest game of his life. She promised she'd be there. She had it blocked off in her calendar for weeks. But a hot new lead from out of state called. They were flying in for the weekend and had exactly one window of time to see her best listing. It was $1 million property. A huge commission. She tried to move the time, but they were inflexible. So she made the choice that so many of us make. She chose the client. She stood in that beautiful empty house, phone in hand, waiting. And waiting. They were 30 minutes late. Then an hour. Finally, she got a call. Their flight was delayed. They weren't going to make it. She rushed to the ball field, but she was too late. The game was over. She saw her son's face, a mix of disappointment and a sad sort of understanding that she had seen too many times before. And in that moment, the potential commission didn't matter. The awards on her wall meant nothing. She had traded a priceless moment for nothing. An empty house and a rescheduled appointment. That night, she seriously considered quitting. She was sacrificing her life for a career that felt like it was constantly taking more than it gave. Does any of this sound familiar? Maybe not the Little League game. Maybe it was a dinner with your spouse, a coffee with a friend, or just a quiet evening on the couch that was hijacked by a last-minute showing for a buyer who ended up being a dud. This is the hamster wheel of traditional real estate. And the industry just accepts it as the cost of doing business. But what if it isn't? In her desperation, Sarah started researching. Not how to get more leads, but how to get better ones. How to clone herself. How to be in 2 places at once. And that's when she stumbled upon a competitor in a different market. A guy in San Diego who was bragging about only doing 5 or 6 in-person showings per sale. 5 or 6. Sarah was doing 30, sometimes 40. What was his secret? Every single one of his listings had an immersive, high-quality 360-degree virtual tour. Not a slideshow. Not a shaky video walkthrough. A true Matterport-style, dollhouse view virtual tour. First, she was skeptical. Another gimmick, she thought. Another expense. But the logic was undeniable. The tour acted as a 24/7, always-on open house. It was her digital clone. Buyers could walk through the entire property from their couch in another state. They could feel the flow of the home, see how the rooms connected, look up at the ceiling height, and look out the windows. They could disqualify the house themselves, without ever taking up a minute of her time. The ones who saw the tour and still wanted an in-person showing weren't just looking. They were pre-sold. They had already walked through the house dozens of times online. They weren't coming to see if they liked it. They were coming to confirm that they loved it. So she took the plunge. She paid a professional to shoot a 360 tour for her next big listing. Cost her a few $100s. But the first sign that everything had changed was when she got a call from a couple in Chicago. They said, "We've been looking in Austin for 6 months. We've seen dozens of video tours, but yours is different. We feel like we're already there. We just spent an hour walking through the house together on our iPad. We'd like to make an offer. An offer. Sight unseen apart from the virtual tour. This had never happened to her before. That one tour saved her from countless back and forth emails, a weekend of showings, and the emotional roller coaster of uncertainty. Suddenly, her schedule opened up. Instead of 10 showings to find one serious buyer, she was doing 2. The tire kickers had been filtered out. The no-shows vanished. The buyers who did show up were engaged, excited, and ready to act. They asked specific, intelligent questions because they'd already answered the basic ones themselves online. Her conversations shifted from sales to consultation. She was no longer a door opener. She was a trusted advisor guiding a near-certain transaction over the finish line. She started getting her time back. She was home for dinner. She went to the gym. She made it to every single one of her son's games for the rest of the season. She was working fewer hours, but paradoxically, her business was growing faster than ever. Sellers started seeking her out. At listing presentations, she didn't just show them a binder of comps. She pulled out her phone and said, "Every agent will put you on the MLS. I'm going to put your home in the hands of buyers all over the world and let them walk through it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. My marketing works while I sleep, while you sleep, and it qualifies every single person before they ever step foot through your door." Who do you think won the listing? This isn't just a story about Sarah. This is the story of a fundamental shift in how real estate will be sold. The old model of trading your time for potential opportunities is broken. It's inefficient, it's exhausting, and it's holding you back from the business and the life you deserve. The 360 virtual tour isn't just a bell or a whistle. It's a filter. It's a qualifier. It's a time machine. It gives you back the most valuable non-renewable asset you have, your hours. It lets you focus on the 20% of activities that generate 80% of your results, negotiating deals and securing new listings. So Sarah saved her time, her gas money, and her sanity. But what did this strategic shift actually do for her bank account? How did this one tool fundamentally change the financial trajectory of her business, allowing her to not just survive, but to scale in ways she never thought possible? The numbers are staggering, and they reveal a secret weapon that top producers are quietly using right now to dominate their markets. Let's break it down, because this is where the theory stops and the real-world results begin. Before implementing 360 virtual tours, Sarah's average listing sat on the market for 42 days. Now, 42 days might sound typical in some markets, but for her sellers, that was 6 weeks of uncertainty, 6 weeks of keeping the house pristine, 6 weeks of mortgage payments, utilities, taxes, and insurance on a property they were mentally ready to leave. These are called holding costs, and they are the silent killer of a seller's net profit. For the average home she was selling, this amounted to roughly $3,000 in pure, out-of-pocket expense for her client. The moment she made a high-quality, immersive 360 tour a non-negotiable part of every single listing, that 42-day average plummeted. In the first 6 months, it dropped to 19 days. After a full year, her average days on market was just 11. That's a 74% reduction. Let's translate that into real dollars for her clients. Instead of $3,000 in holding costs, they were now paying less than $800. She was saving her clients on average $2,200 before they even got to the negotiation table. This wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a hot market streak. It was a direct causal link. Why? Because the virtual tour acted as a 24/7, always-on open house. Serious buyers could walk through the property from their couch in another state at 10 o'clock at night. They could measure walls for their furniture, check the flow from the kitchen to the dining room, and truly immerse themselves in the space. By the time they scheduled an in-person showing, they weren't just curious. They were already emotionally invested. They were pre-sold. This leads to the second staggering number: her list-to-sale price ratio. Like most agents, Sarah was proud of getting her clients around 98% of their asking price. It's a solid professional number. But after virtual tours, that number started to climb. First to 100%, then 101%. Last year, her average listing sold for 103.5% of the asking price. This is where the magic really happens. That extra 3.5% on a $500,000 home is an additional $17,500 in her seller's pocket. Add that to the $2,200 they saved in holding costs, and Sarah was now delivering, on average, nearly $20,000 more in value to every single client. How is this possible? It's about buyer psychology. A buyer who has only seen photos is still full of questions and uncertainty. They walk into the home on the defense, looking for problems, looking for reasons to offer less. But a buyer who has already spent 15 minutes inside the virtual tour walks in with a sense of familiarity and ownership. They aren't there to discover the house. They're there to confirm their decision to love it. They've already pictured their life there. This confidence translates directly into stronger, faster, and cleaner offers. They are less likely to be spooked by minor issues and more likely to compete, driving the price up. Sarah wasn't just selling houses anymore. She was selling a pre-validated dream. But the financial impact wasn't just on her clients. It was radically transforming her own business. This brings us to the third and most powerful metric: agent efficiency and lead quality. Before, a typical Saturday for Sarah was a frantic marathon of back-to-back-to-back showings. She'd race across town, showing a single property to 6, 7, maybe 8 different parties. Out of those 8, maybe one was a truly qualified, motivated buyer. The other 7 were looky-loos, neighbors, or people in the earliest stages of just browsing. She was spending her most valuable asset, her time, acting as a tour guide for unqualified leads. The 360 tour became her ultimate filter. It weeded out everyone who wasn't serious. The people who booked a physical showing after taking the virtual tour were a completely different caliber of buyer. Her showing-to-offer ratio went through the roof. Instead of 8 showings to get 1 offer, she was now getting an offer for every 2 or 3 physical showings. Her weekends were no longer about volume. They were about high-leverage, high-probability appointments. Think about what this did for her capacity. By reclaiming her weekends and weekdays from low-quality showings, she had an extra 10 to 15 hours a week. What did she do with that time? She prospected for new listings. She deepened relationships with her best clients. She negotiated her current deals with more focus. She could now handle twice the number of listings with less stress and better results. The virtual tour wasn't an expense. It was an investment in the single most valuable commodity in real estate: time. It allowed her to scale. Finally, let's talk about marketing spend. Sarah used to spend a small fortune on traditional marketing: flyers, print ads, boosting posts on social media with static photos, extensive signage for open houses that attracted more neighbors than buyers. It was a constant cash burn. The 360 tour flipped this model on its head. For a one-time cost of a few $100s, she got a marketing asset that worked for her indefinitely. It was the star of her MLS listing. It was the centerpiece of her website. It was an endlessly shareable piece of content for social media. She could email the link to out-of-state agents. She could text it to an interested buyer in seconds. The analytics were a goldmine. She could see how many people viewed the tour, how long they spent inside, and which rooms they focused on the most. This was priceless data that informed her marketing and her conversations with sellers. Instead of just saying, "We had a lot of interest," she could say, "We've had 450 virtual visits this week, with the average person spending 8 minutes in the home, and the most popular area is the back patio." This demonstrated immense value and expertise. Her marketing budget didn't just become more effective, it became more intelligent. The tour paid for itself tenfold, not just in the sale price, but in the marketing dollars it saved and the market intelligence it provided. These 4 pillars: dramatically reduced days on market, a significantly higher sale price, a revolutionary improvement in her own efficiency, and a smarter, more effective marketing spend, created a compounding effect. Each element fed the others. Faster sales at higher prices led to ecstatic clients, who then wrote glowing 5-star reviews, which in turn attracted more high-quality listings. It was a flywheel of success, and the 360 virtual tour was the powerful first push that set it all in motion. The numbers weren't just staggering, they were transformative. They redefined what was possible for her business. But the financial ROI, as incredible as it was, is only half the story. What Sarah discovered next was arguably even more powerful, because it tapped into the one thing that money can't buy and competitors can't easily replicate. The virtual tour wasn't just changing her bank account. It was fundamentally changing her relationship with her clients, building a level of trust and transparency that was practically unshakable. How? By leveraging a deep-seated psychological trigger that most of the real estate industry completely ignores. That trigger is called mental ownership. It's the powerful subconscious process where a potential buyer stops seeing a property as a listing and starts seeing it as their home. It's the moment they mentally move in. They start placing their couch in the living room. They imagine their kids running down the hallway. They picture where the Christmas tree will go. For decades, realtors have hoped this moment would happen during a physical showing. But by then you've already invested hours, sometimes days, coordinating schedules, driving across town, and dealing with the inevitable no-shows. Maria discovered that with a 360 tour, this critical psychological shift was happening before she ever met them in person. It wasn't a theory. She saw it in her client communications. One couple, relocating from Oregon to Texas, spent an entire evening exploring the virtual tour of a 4-bedroom colonial in a Dallas suburb. The next morning, her inbox had an email from them. It wasn't a list of questions about the HVAC system or the age of the roof. It was a debate. The husband, Mark, had written, "Sarah is convinced our king-size bed won't fit on the main wall in the master bedroom because of the window placement. I measured it on my screen using a ruler and I think it will, but can you confirm the exact wall length between the window and the door frame?" Think about that for a second. They weren't asking if the house was right for them. They were already in the house, living their lives and solving their own domestic problems. They had taken mental ownership. They had spent an hour unsupervised, walking through every room, looking in every corner, zooming in on the crown molding, and standing in the middle of the kitchen imagining their morning coffee. They did this on their own time at their own pace, without the pressure of an agent looking over their shoulder. This is the fundamental difference that most of the industry still doesn't grasp. A photograph is passive. It's a statement. Here is the kitchen. A pre-recorded video walkthrough is still passive. It's a guided narrative. And now we're walking into the beautiful kitchen. The viewer is a passenger on a ride they can't control. They're forced to see what the videographer wants them to see, at the pace the editor chose. This creates subtle friction. What if they wanted to look at the pantry for 10 seconds longer? What if they wanted to see the view out the kitchen window instead of the view of the granite countertops? Every unanswered question, every unexplored angle, is a tiny seed of doubt. A 360 virtual tour is the opposite. It's an active experience. It hands the controls directly to the buyer. They are no longer a passenger. They are the explorer. They are the director. This sense of agency is profoundly powerful. It taps into our deep-seated human need for control and autonomy. When a buyer can navigate a space freely, they're not just viewing a property. They are building a mental map of it. They are creating their own memories and associations with the space. The layout becomes intuitive. The flow from the living room to the dining room becomes second nature. They feel a sense of mastery over the environment. This process systematically dismantles the biggest enemy of any sale: uncertainty. Every photo gallery is filled with what photographers call hero shots. Perfectly lit, wide-angle images that make every room look enormous and flawless. Buyers know this. They've been trained to be skeptical. They're constantly wondering, what are they not showing me? What does the awkward little hallway behind the staircase look like? Is there water damage on the ceiling in that closet they didn't photograph? How cramped does it feel when you're actually standing by the laundry machines? These are curiosity gaps. And in sales, curiosity gaps breed suspicion. A 360 tour is the ultimate curiosity gap killer. It's an act of radical transparency. By giving a potential buyer the ability to look literally anywhere, up at the ceiling, down at the floor, inside the closet, you are implicitly saying, "We have nothing to hide." This single act builds more trust than 1,000 well-written listing descriptions. Maria found that her clients who engaged with the tours came to the first physical showing with a completely different energy. They weren't there to skeptically vet the property. They were there to confirm their decision. The home already felt familiar, felt right. The physical showing became a formality, a final emotional confirmation of a choice they had already made in their own living room, hundreds of miles away. This wasn't just about feelings and psychology. It had a brutal, tangible impact on her business efficiency. The tire kickers, the casually browsing, the just wanted to see what's out there crowd, they all but vanished. The people who booked a showing after taking a virtual tour were serious, pre-qualified, and pre-sold on the home's layout and condition. Her showing-to-offer ratio skyrocketed. She was no longer a tour guide for strangers. She was a facilitator for future homeowners. She was closing deals faster with less friction, and for clients who felt more confident and in control than ever before. She had cracked the code on buyer psychology. She understood that she wasn't just selling square footage and granite countertops. She was selling a feeling of home, and the 360 tour was the most effective tool ever created to deliver that feeling at scale. But as she started to lean into this new strategy, making it the cornerstone of every single listing, she ran headfirst into a new, terrifying wall. It wasn't a wall of market competition or difficult clients. It was a wall of technology and economics. The early platforms were clunky and outrageously expensive. The cameras cost a fortune, the hosting fees were predatory, and the software felt like it was designed by engineers who had never spoken to a human being. She had found the secret weapon, but now it felt like the secret weapon was about to bankrupt her. The very thing that gave her a competitive edge was threatening to bleed her business dry, one exorbitant monthly subscription at a time. She was at a crossroads, realizing that unlocking the buyer's brain was only half the battle. Now she had to figure out how to master the technology without it mastering her. Her laptop screen glowed in the dark, a constellation of pricing pages, feature comparisons, and user forums. Each click was a small step deeper into a labyrinth of confusion. There were the big names, the ones that popped up first on every search, promising an all-in-one solution. They offered the camera, the hosting, the software, all bundled into a neat, tidy, and terrifyingly expensive monthly fee. $100 a month. $200. Some even had enterprise plans that made her car payment look like pocket change. For every listing. Forever. If she ever stopped paying, her tours would vanish into the digital ether, leaving broken links on all her listings. It wasn't a partnership. It was a hostage situation. She imagined her business a few years down the line with dozens, maybe hundreds of active listings. The combined weight of those monthly fees would be an anchor, dragging her down, punishing her for her own success. It was the Silicon Valley dream, built on the backs of small business owners like her. They weren't selling a product, they were selling a dependency. Frustrated, she typed a desperate query into a search bar. 360 tour software without subscription. The results were different, less polished. The websites looked like they were designed in 2010. Instead of slick marketing videos, there were long, convoluted forum posts filled with acronyms she didn't understand. HDR, nadir patching, stitching errors. Felt like trying to learn a foreign language. She was about to give up, to just bite the bullet and sign up for the most expensive service because it seemed the easiest when a single forum thread caught her eye. The title was blunt. Stop renting your business. Own your tours. The post was a rant, a glorious unfiltered tirade from a user named PhotoDave82. He tore into the subscription models, calling them digital landlords and predatory. He talked about the importance of owning your assets, of controlling your own workflow. He argued that with a one-time investment in the right gear and software, you could produce tours that were just as good, if not better, than the subscription giants for a fraction of the cost over the long term. And the best part? The tours were yours. Forever. You could host them on your own website on a cheap cloud server anywhere you wanted. You held the keys. Buried at the bottom of his post was a simple line. Based in Austin. Happy to buy a coffee for anyone who wants to escape the subscription trap. Sarah's heart skipped a beat. She was in Austin. She sent him a message before she could second-guess herself. 2 days later, she was sitting across from a man who looked exactly like his username sounded. Dave was in his late 50s, with a weathered face and hands that looked like they'd spent more time holding a camera than a keyboard. He took a sip of his black coffee and sized her up. "So," he started, his voice a low gravel, "you're tired of giving your money to the tech brothers?" Sarah nodded, feeling a little intimidated. I don't understand how it can be so expensive. I want to offer this for my clients, but I don't want to build my business on a foundation of debt." Dave let out a short, barking laugh. That's their whole model. They prey on convenience. They know realtors are busy. You don't have time to learn photogrammetry or coding, so they sell you a shiny box and a login, and they take a piece of every deal you ever make. It's brilliant, and it's a scam. He leaned forward, his intensity filling the small space between them. Let me break it down for you. There are 3 parts to this whole game. The camera, the software, and the host. The subscription guys bundle all 3. The smart way is to buy them separately. First, the camera, he said, pulling a small, pill-shaped device from his jacket pocket. It was an Insta360. This is your entry point. Forget the $1,000 DSLR rigs for now. You don't need them. These little one-shot cameras are miracles of engineering. For $500, you get a camera that shoots a full 360-degree image in high dynamic range with 1 click. It's not perfect, but it's 90% of the way there for 10% of the cost of a pro rig. You buy this. You own it. It's a tool like your lockbox key or your tape measure. He placed it on the table between them. Step 1 done. You've just saved yourself thousands. Sarah looked at the small device. Seem too simple. That's it? This little thing can do what those other companies are using. More or less. The magic isn't just in the lens. It's in the software. Which brings us to part 2. He leaned back. This is where they trap you. Their software lives in the cloud. You upload your photos, their servers do the work, and they spit out a tour. It's easy, but you never see what's under the hood. You can't customize it, and if you stop paying, they take it away. The alternative, he continued, is desktop software. You buy a license. Once. It costs maybe $300 or $400. You install it on your computer. It's yours. Forever. You take the photos from your little camera. He tapped the Insta360. You drag them into the software and you build the tour yourself. You link the rooms. You add the info points. You control everything. But is it hard to use? Sarah asked, the memory of those confusing forum posts fresh in her mind. Is it as easy as a single button? No. Will you have to watch a few hours of tutorials on YouTube? Yes. You'll have to learn a little bit. But you're a real estate agent. You learn contracts and negotiations and zoning laws. You can learn how to click and drag hotspots on a screen. The trade-off for a few hours of learning is saving tens of thousands of dollars over your career and having complete creative control. It's the best deal you'll ever make. He could see the gears turning in her head. The fear was being replaced by a flicker of possibility. Okay, she said slowly. So I own the camera and I own the software license. But where does the tour live? How do people see it? Part 3, the host, Dave smiled. This is their final hook. They charge you a fortune for premium, high-speed hosting. It's a joke. A virtual tour is just a folder of files, JPGs and a bit of code. That's it. You can host it almost anywhere. He pulled out his phone. You have a website, right? Sarah nodded. Your website hosting plan, the one you pay $10 a month for? It has storage space. You can literally just upload the tour folder to your own website. It's free. It's already included in what you pay. Sarah's jaw dropped slightly. You can just put it on your own site? Yep. Or if you want it to be super fast and you have tons of tours, you can use a service like Amazon S3. It's cloud storage. You pay for exactly what you use. We're talking pennies. A tour that might cost you $20 a month on a subscription platform might cost you 25 cents a month on S3 for the exact same performance. He sat back, letting it all sink in. So let's do the math. The subscription model. Maybe $200 a month. Every month. Forever. That's $2,400 a year, with nothing to show for it if you quit. The ownership model, he continued, is about a $500 camera, a $400 piece of software, a one-time cost of $900, and hosting that costs less than your morning coffee. In your first year, you're already saving $1,500. In your second year, you save the full $2,400. By year 5, you've saved almost $11,000. All because you invested a few hours to learn a skill instead of renting a convenience. It was like a light had been switched on in a dark room. The entire industry, which had seemed so opaque and complex, was suddenly simple. It was a choice between being a customer and being a creator, between being dependent and being self-sufficient. Sarah felt a surge of empowerment she hadn't felt since she first got her real estate license. She finally understood. The technology wasn't the barrier. The barrier was the business model built around it. The secret wasn't in finding the best subscription. It was in avoiding subscriptions altogether. She looked at Dave, a newfound determination in her eyes. Okay, she said, her voice firm. I'm in. What camera should I buy? What software? Tell me exactly what I need. Dave grinned. He picked up the small 360 camera from the table and tossed it to her. She fumbled but caught it. It was surprisingly light. The gear is the easy part, he said, his smile fading slightly into a more serious expression. Buying it is just a transaction. The hard part, the part that separates an amateur from a pro, is learning how to see. You have to stop thinking like you're taking a picture of a room. With this, you're capturing the room itself. You have to learn the language of the space. And the first word in that language, the foundational grammar, is flow. Before you even turn the camera on, you need to walk through the house and ask yourself one question. What is the story of this home? Where does it begin? What is the journey? And where does it end? A virtual tour isn't a collection of disconnected rooms. It's a single, continuous narrative. You are the director. and your job is to guide the buyer's eye on the most emotionally resonant path. Don't just start at the front door because it's the front door. Start there because it's the beginning of the story. From there, where do you want them to go? To the stunning light-filled great room? Or down the hallway to build anticipation for the master suite? Every decision you make about where to place the next scan point is a sentence in your story. Get the grammar wrong, and the story becomes a confusing, jumbled mess. This brings us to the most common mistake I see, the one that screams amateur. It's placing the tripod dead center in every single room. It seems logical, right? You get an even view of everything. But it's wrong. It's sterile. It's what a security camera does. You're not selling a security system. You're selling a life. Nobody stands perfectly in the middle of a room. They sit on the couch, they stand at the kitchen island, they look out the bedroom window. Your camera needs to capture the home from a human perspective. To fix this, I want you to burn a concept into your brain. I call it the tripod triangle. For every major room, the living room, the kitchen, the master bedroom, you are not going to take one scan. You're going to take 3 in a rough triangle formation. Each point of this triangle has a specific purpose. Point 1 is the threshold shot. This is taken from just inside the doorway looking into the room. This is critical. It answers the buyer's first question. What does it feel like to walk into this space? It establishes the room's context, its connection to the rest of the house, and it creates that initial first impression. It's the establishing shot in a movie scene. Point 2 is the experience shot. This is the most important one. You need to identify the primary function of the room and place the camera there. In a living room, this isn't the center of the floor. It's near the sofa, looking toward the fireplace or the big screen TV. It's from the perspective of someone relaxing, living, being in the space. In a kitchen, it's at the corner of the island, where someone would stand chopping vegetables while talking to their family. You are literally putting the buyer in the shoes of the homeowner, allowing them to feel what it's like to live that moment. Point 3 is the architectural shot. This is your chance to show off the features. Find the angle that makes the ceilings look highest, that captures the full sweep of the bay window, that shows off the custom built-ins. This shot is less about the lived experience and more about showcasing the assets, the value, the things that make the property unique. By using the tripod triangle, you transform a flat, boring spin-in-a-circle view into a dynamic, multi-perspective exploration. The buyer isn't just observing the room. They're moving through it, experiencing it from the key points where life actually happens. They can jump from the doorway to the couch to the window, and in doing so, they build a far more accurate and emotionally charged mental map of the space. Now, within that story, every great home has a hero, a showstopper, the one feature that makes a buyer's heart skip a beat. It could be the 2-story stone fireplace, the infinity edge pool, the chef's kitchen with the 6-burner wolf range, or the breathtaking view from the master balcony. Your job as the director is to identify this hero and build a scene around it. The virtual tour must have a climax, and the hero shot is it. Don't just capture it. Reveal it. Use the flow of your tour to build anticipation. Maybe you guide them down a simple hallway first, the walls plain, the lighting standard, and then they turn the corner and bam. You place the scan point right there at the moment of reveal to capture that gasp. And when you frame that hero, you light it like a movie star. This is where you have to ditch the run-and-gun mentality. If the hero is a stunning western-facing view, you don't shoot the tour at 10 a.m. You wait. You come back for the golden hour, when the light is pouring in, warm and magical, and you capture that room in its absolute best light. If the hero is a bright white kitchen, you shoot it at high noon when the natural light is at its peak, making the quartz countertops gleam and the space feel clean and energetic. Remember, this camera captures light. You are not a photographer. You are a painter, and light is your medium. Controlling it is the difference between a simple record of a room and a work of art that sells a lifestyle. This all leads to the final piece of the puzzle in capturing the space. The seamless stitch philosophy. The technology that stitches these 360 images together is incredible, but it's not magic. It relies on you, the creator, to give it good data. And the golden rule of good data is maintaining a clear line of sight. From any point where you are standing, the buyer must be able to see the next point you want them to move to. It sounds obvious, but it's the #1 cause of clunky, frustrating tours. If a buyer clicks to move forward and they land in a spot that was previously hidden behind a wall, it's disorienting. It shatters the illusion. You're no longer walking through a house. You're just clicking on hotspots in a video game. Plan your path. Walk it first. Ensure every scan point is visible from the last. Create a trail of digital breadcrumbs that is so intuitive, the buyer doesn't even have to think about navigation. Part of this seamless experience is the eye-level rule. Your tripod height has to be locked in and consistent through the entire property. I recommend setting it to about 60 inches or 5 feet. This mimics the average human eye level. Once you set it, you do not change it. Not for the kitchen, not for the bedroom, not for the basement. Why? Because when the height is consistent, the transitions between scans feel like walking. The door frames line up, the countertop heights feel right. The scale of the world remains constant. The moment you change the height, the transition becomes a jarring jump, and again the immersion is broken. The buyer is reminded they're looking at a screen. You want them to forget the screen. You want them to feel the floor beneath their feet. By combining these principles, directing the narrative flow, using the tripod triangle to capture human experience, building to a hero shot, and ensuring a seamless stitch with line of sight and consistent eye level, you move beyond just documenting a property. You start to craft an experience. You are no longer just showing them walls and floors. You are communicating the feeling of a home. You're translating the language of the space into an emotional journey a buyer can take from their own couch, hundreds of miles away. So you've done it. You've planned the story, you've mastered the angles, you've captured the hero in perfect light. The raw data you have is breathtaking. You've created the perfect tour. But all of that meticulous work, all that artistry, can be rendered completely and utterly worthless if you make one critical mistake in the final step. The digital delivery. Because the platform you choose to host this masterpiece, and the way you present it to the world, can either amplify its power tenfold, or kill it dead on arrival. Let's talk about that moment of truth. You've invested the time, the money, the creative energy. You've captured a digital soul of a property. Now what? The average agent, the B- player, will take that tour file, upload it to the cheapest or easiest platform they can find, slap a generic link on the MLS and call it a day. And in doing so, they've effectively taken $1 billion Powerball ticket and used it as a bookmark. The platform isn't just a host. It's the stage. It's the theater. It's the entire experience that wraps around your masterpiece. Choosing the wrong one is like commissioning a Rembrandt and then hanging it in a gas station bathroom. The art is still there, but the context, the presentation, the entire perceived value is utterly destroyed. So where do you stage your masterpiece? Broadly, you have two main philosophies, two schools of thought, and the one you choose will define your entire digital strategy. Think of it like Apple versus Android. On one hand, you have the walled garden, the beautifully simple, closed-loop ecosystem. In the world of virtual tours, this is Matterport. And let's be clear, Matterport is the 800-pound gorilla for a reason. Their user experience is slick. Their dollhouse view is still an industry-defining feature that gives buyers an incredible sense of space. When a client sees the Matterport logo, there's a built-in sense of trust and professionalism. It's the safe bet. It's easy, it's reliable, and it integrates cleanly with most MLS systems. For an agent who wants a set-it-and-forget-it solution that just works, it's a powerful choice. But that simplicity comes at a cost, and I don't just mean the subscription fees. You're playing in their sandbox by their rules. Your branding is secondary to theirs. Customization is limited. You can't easily embed interactive lead capture forms, custom video pop-ups, or unique informational hotspots that truly reflect your brand and your sales strategy. You get the Apple experience. Beautiful, simple, and locked down. Then you have the other philosophy, the Android or custom PC approach. These are platforms like 3D Vista or Kula. These are not just hosting platforms, they are creative suites. They hand you the keys to the entire kingdom. The learning curve is steeper, no question, but the payoff is total control. You can design a custom user interface that uses your exact brand colors, fonts, and logos. There is no other company's branding anywhere on your tour. You can embed a mortgage calculator right inside the kitchen view. You can create a hotspot on the refrigerator that links to a PDF of the appliance warranties. You can put a video of yourself in the living room, welcoming the viewer and pointing out the custom millwork. Most critically, you can build lead generation directly into the experience. Imagine a pop-up that says, "Love this master bathroom? Enter your email to get a list of 5 other homes with spa-like in-suites." You're not just showing a house anymore. You're creating an interactive marketing funnel. You're turning a passive viewing experience into an active lead generation machine. This is the path for the agent who sees themselves not just as a salesperson, but as a media company, as a dominant brand in their market. It requires more effort, but the ceiling for what you can achieve is infinitely higher. And please, whatever you do, avoid the siren song of the free hosting platform. It's a trap, plain and simple. Free platforms make money somehow, and it's usually through ads, selling data, or severely limiting your features to push you into a paid plan. Your high-end tour of a luxury condo will load slowly, stutter on mobile devices, and then be surrounded by banner ads for cheap furniture or, even worse, another agent. It screams amateur. It erodes the very trust and premium feel you spent so much to create. In real estate, perception is reality. A clunky, ad-filled user experience sends a clear message to a potential buyer or a potential seller. This agent cuts corners. And if they'll cut corners on their marketing, where else are they cutting corners? Your digital delivery is an extension of your professional reputation. Protect it at all costs. Now, having the perfect tour on the perfect platform is still only half the battle. The final, crucial piece of the puzzle is distribution. Because the most incredible tour in the world is useless if no one sees it. This is where the top 1% of agents separate themselves from the pack. They don't just post the tour. They execute a multi-channel distribution strategy. First, the MLS and the portals Zillow, Redfin, Trulia. The tour needs to be front and center. It should be the very first piece of media a potential buyer clicks on. Not buried at the end of a 50-photo slideshow. It is the main event. Second, your personal website. The property shouldn't just be another listing on a grid. It needs its own dedicated, single property landing page. A clean, beautiful page where the 360 tour is the undisputed hero, taking up the entire screen. Below it, you have your curated photos, the description, the video, and a prominent call to action. This page becomes the central hub for all your marketing efforts. Third, social media. You don't just post a link to the tour. That's lazy. You slice and dice the tour into a dozen micro pieces of content. You use the software to create a tiny planet image of the backyard and post it to Instagram with a poll. Dream backyard. Yes or no? You screen record a 30-second high-speed walkthrough of the best features and turn it into a TikTok or a reel set to trending audio. You pull a stunning still image of the sunset view from a balcony and use it as a Facebook ad targeting potential buyers in a specific zip code, driving them back to that single property landing page. You're not just sharing a link, you're creating an entire campaign around this one powerful asset. And fourth, the secret weapon, email and direct outreach. You send the tour to your list of hot buyers, but with a professional platform, you don't just send it blindly. You use the analytics. This is the part that should give you chills. Advanced hosting platforms provide a shocking amount of data. You can see not just who opened the email, but who clicked on the tour. You can see how long they spent inside it. You can see which rooms they visited, in what order, and how long they stayed in each one. Imagine this, you see that 3 people on your list spent over 10 minutes in the tour, and all 3 of them spent at least 3 of those minutes in the master bedroom and the home office. You don't have to guess what they're interested in. The data tells you. You can now follow up with a personalized phone call. Hey John, saw you were checking out the property on Elm Street. I noticed the home office might be a key feature for you. I just wanted to let you know the sellers recently upgraded the fiber optic internet. It's the fastest in the neighborhood. You've just gone from a generic salesperson to a mind-reading consultant. You're not selling. You're solving a problem you know they have. This data also transforms your relationship with your sellers. You can go to them with a weekly report. This week, we had 450 virtual visitors. The average time spent was 6 minutes. The most popular room was the kitchen, followed by the back patio. Here's a heat map showing exactly where people were looking. You're demonstrating tangible value. You're proving your marketing is working. You're replacing their anxiety with concrete data. This is how you build a bulletproof reputation. This is how you command higher commissions. It all comes back to the delivery, because a 360 tour isn't just a picture. It's a stage, it's a marketing funnel, and it's a data gathering machine. And when you master the art of delivering it, you become unstoppable. But here's the thing. Even with the perfect tour, the perfect platform, and a flawless distribution strategy, technology doesn't stand still. What we've just discussed is the cutting edge of 2026. But there is a new wave of technology, a fundamental shift on the horizon, powered by artificial intelligence and true virtual reality, that threatens to change this game all over again. And if you're not prepared for it, everything we've just discussed could become obsolete, almost overnight. What we're talking about isn't just a better camera or a slightly smoother interface. We're talking about the end of the virtual tour as we know it. The current 360 tour, even a beautiful Matterport scan, is fundamentally a collection of static images stitched together. You click from one photosphere to the next. It's a brilliant illusion of movement, but it's still an illusion. You can't truly explore. You can't open a closet door that wasn't already photographed open. You can't walk over to the window and look out at a different angle. You are following a predetermined path laid out by the photographer. This is the critical limitation that is about to be shattered. The next wave is what we can call generative spatial reality. It's a mouthful, I know, but break it down. Spatial means it understands three-dimensional space. Reality means it's photorealistic. And the key word, generative, means it's created and manipulated by artificial intelligence. Imagine this. Instead of a photographer taking hundreds of photos, a device, maybe even your phone, does a quick single scan of a property. It captures not just images but spatial data, dimensions, textures, and light. An AI then takes this raw data and doesn't just stitch it together. It rebuilds the entire property from the ground up as a fully interactive, one-to-one digital twin. A virtual sandbox. A real-life video game level of the home. For the buyer, the experience is a quantum leap. They put on a VR headset, and by 2026, these will be as common and lightweight as a pair of sunglasses, and they are in the house. Not looking at pictures of it. They are standing in the living room. They can walk, not click, over to the kitchen. They can crouch down to inspect the hardwood floors. They can open the refrigerator. They can walk into the pantry, turn around and see how much shelf space there really is. They can go to a window, lean forward, and see the exact view of the backyard from that specific spot. But it gets even crazier. Because it's a generative environment, it's not static. The buyer could say, "Show me this room with beige walls." And the AI in real time changes the wall color. What would a king-size bed look like in this master bedroom? Poof! A photorealistic king-size bed appears, and they can walk around it, seeing exactly how much space is left. They can upload a model of their own sofa from their current apartment and place it in the living room to see if it fits. This isn't just a viewing. It's a virtual move-in day. They are not just seeing a house. They are experiencing it as their potential home, customized to their tastes, before ever setting foot inside. This destroys the biggest friction point of online home shopping: the imagination gap. The mental effort a buyer has to exert to translate flat photos and clunky tours into a real feeling of a space. Generative spatial reality eliminates that gap entirely. The emotional connection that used to require an in-person visit can now be formed from 1,000 miles away, with a depth and certainty that a Zillow gallery simply cannot compete with. So how does this happen? It's the convergence of three technologies. First, LiDAR and spatial sensors, which are already in high-end iPhones and will become standard, are getting exponentially better at capturing 3D data. Second, generative AI models, the same kind of tech behind ChatGPT and Midjourney, are becoming incredibly adept at understanding and recreating physical spaces realistically. They can fill in gaps, perfect lighting, and render textures in a way that's indistinguishable from reality. And third, the rise of consumer-grade spatial computing headsets, led by giants like Apple, Meta, and others, is creating the delivery platform for these experiences. The hardware is finally catching up to the software dream. Now, here's the part that should send a chill down the spine of every agent who isn't paying attention. This technology fundamentally threatens the traditional role of the agent as the gatekeeper of property access. For decades, a huge part of an agent's value was having the keys. You wanted to see a house? You had to call an agent. They coordinated the showing, they unlocked the door, they walked you through. Virtual tours started to chip away at that, allowing buyers to pre-screen properties. But this new wave doesn't just pre-screen. For many buyers, especially out-of-state or international ones, this virtual experience will be so good, so complete, that it could replace the first, second, and even third physical visit. The need to have an agent physically open a door will plummet. The question a buyer asks will no longer be, "Can you get me in to see it?" But, "I've already seen it, I've placed my furniture in it, and I love it. Can you get me the best deal?" The agent's role shifts dramatically from a tour guide to a high-stakes negotiator, a hyperlocal market analyst, and a transaction coordinator. All the soft skills become paramount, because the functional skill of showing the house will have been largely automated. And this isn't science fiction set in 2040. We are on the doorstep of this change right now. The technology is being beta tested in other industries, in architecture, in industrial design, in gaming. Real estate is the most obvious and lucrative consumer application. The reason we're pegging 2026 as the inflection point is based on the adoption curve of new technology. Right now, in 2024, it's the playground of early adopters and tech-forward luxury brokerages. Throughout 2025, the tools will become cheaper, easier to use, and more widespread. We'll see major portals start to integrate this tech. By 2026, consumer expectation will have shifted. Just like high-quality photos went from a luxury to a necessity, and drone shots became standard, these true VR walkthroughs will become the new baseline. A listing in 2026 without a fully interactive, generative spatial tour will look as dated and unappealing as a listing today with 4 blurry, crooked photos. It will signal to buyers that the seller is not serious, or the agent is behind the times. It will get skipped over. Your premium marketing package of today, your Zillow 3D home and your drone video will be, I'm sorry to say, the bare minimum table stakes. It will be the equivalent of putting a sign in the yard. Expected but not impressive. This creates a terrifying new gap. Not between agents who use video and those who don't, but between agents who provide static information and those who provide immersive, interactive experiences. The platforms and brokerages with the capital to invest in this AI-driven technology will have a monumental, almost unfair, advantage. They'll be able to offer buyers an experience that a traditional agent with a DSLR camera simply cannot match. So the question becomes, how do you compete? How can an individual agent or a small brokerage possibly keep up with a technological arms race that seems to be funded by billions of dollars from Silicon Valley? Feels like an impossible fight. But it's not. The solution isn't to outspend the tech giants. The solution is to outsmart them. It requires a fundamental reevaluation of where your true value lies and a strategic pivot in how you market yourself and your properties. It's about leveraging this technology, not being crushed by it. There is a clear, actionable path to not only survive this transition, but to use it to capture more market share than ever before. And that precise strategy, that roadmap to becoming a next-generation agent, is what we will lay out in the final part. So let's build that roadmap step by step. This isn't theoretical. This is the tactical playbook for dominating the next era of real estate. Step 1 is the most critical, and it has nothing to do with technology. It's a mindset shift. You must stop thinking of yourself as someone who simply shows houses. That role is being automated into irrelevance. Instead, you must become a digital property curator, a professional marketer who presents a home story and value proposition on a global stage, 24/7. Your primary showroom is no longer the physical property. It's the digital experience of that property. The 360 tour isn't a feature. It's the foundation of your new showroom. Once you internalize that, every other step becomes a logical extension of this new identity. Step 2, choose your tools. This is where agents get paralyzed by choice, but it's actually quite simple. You have 3 primary paths. The first is the do-it-yourself path. For about the cost of a high-end dinner, you can buy a consumer-grade 360 camera like an Insta360 or a Ricoh Theta. The quality won't rival a Hollywood production, but it is 1,000 times better than static photos alone. This is your entry point. It allows you to get comfortable with the technology to start offering this on every single listing, from a small condo to a starter home, without a huge upfront cost. The learning curve is a few hours on YouTube. The investment is minimal. The barrier to entry is a myth. The second path is the professional service path. This is where you hire a dedicated company that uses high-end equipment, like a Matterport Pro 2 camera, to create a stunning, architecturally accurate digital twin of your listing. The quality is breathtaking. This is your premium option. You reserve this for your high-end listings, the ones where every pixel matters. The cost is higher per property, but the return is immense. It signals to luxury sellers that you operate at the highest level. You're not just an agent, you're a premium marketing partner. But the smartest agents in 2026 will use the third path, the hybrid model. They'll own a simple 360 camera for their everyday listings, ensuring every single client gets this baseline of superior marketing. Then, for their million-dollar-plus properties, they'll bring in the professionals to create a masterpiece. This strategic approach maximizes your marketing impact across your entire portfolio. It tells every potential client, regardless of their price point, that you are a technology-forward agent who invests in their success. The question stops being, "Can I afford this?" and starts being, "How can I afford not to do this when my competitor is?" The cost of one professional tour is a fraction of your commission. The cost of losing that listing because your marketing felt dated? That's a cost you can't afford. Step 3 is the most powerful: integration. A 360 tour sitting on the MLS is a wasted asset. You have to weave it into the very fabric of your business. Let's start with the most important meeting you have: the listing presentation. Imagine this. You're sitting at a potential seller's dining room table. The other agents came in with a paper CMA and a promise to put the home on Zillow. You, on the other hand, pull out your tablet. You don't just tell them about your marketing plan. You show them. You pull up a 360 tour of a previous listing. You hand them the tablet and say, "Go ahead, walk through it." As they immerse themselves, panning from the kitchen to the living room, their eyes widening, you've already won. You have just provided tangible, undeniable proof that you market homes in a way your competition simply cannot. You're no longer selling a promise, you're demonstrating a superior product. This is how you achieve a higher closing rate on listing appointments. Next, you integrate it into lead qualification. How many hours have you wasted driving across town to show a home to someone who was only mildly curious? Now your first response to an online inquiry isn't, "When can you see it?" It's, "Here is the complete immersive virtual tour. Take a walk through the home right now from your couch. Let me know what you think, and then we can schedule a private in-person visit." The serious buyers will spend 10-15 minutes inside that tour. They will explore every corner. They will pre-qualify themselves. The tire kickers will spend 30 seconds and move on. You've just saved yourself 5 hours and a tank of gas. And you can now focus your energy on the clients who are genuinely ready to make a move. Your time is your most valuable asset. This technology gives it back to you. Step 4 is where you transcend the competition and become truly elite. Master the narrative with live guided tours. A standalone 360 tour is a great presentation, but a tour led by you is a closing tool. Using simple screen sharing software like Zoom, you can schedule a call with a remote buyer. You're in your office, they're in another state. You both enter the virtual tour together, but you control the screen. You are their personal guide. You can say, "Okay, let's start in the foyer. Notice the craftsmanship on the staircase. Now let me walk you into the kitchen. I want you to see the way the morning light hits this granite countertop. The sellers told me this is their favorite spot to have coffee." You are digitally recreating the experience of a private showing. You're pointing out the features they'd miss. You're answering their questions in real time. You are building rapport, trust, and urgency. You are adding your irreplaceable human value on top of the technology. This is how you sell a home in Austin to a buyer in New York who has never set foot in Texas. This isn't just a tool. It's a market expansion strategy. It shatters geographical limitations and turns the entire country into your potential buyer pool. So let's fast forward to 2026 and picture two agents. Agent 1 ignored the change. They thought 360 tours were a fad. They still rely on the same 25 blurry photos they've always used. They're working harder than ever, driving to more and more showings for unqualified leads. They're losing listings to younger, more tech-savvy agents whose presentations make their own look ancient. They feel the market shifting under their feet, the sand slipping through their fingers, and they don't know why. They're becoming a commodity, and their income reflects it. Then there's Agent 2. They watched this video. They started with a simple 360 camera. They practiced. They integrated the tours into their listing presentations and started winning more clients. They used the tours to filter their leads, freeing up their schedule to focus on dollar-productive activities. They mastered the live guided tour, closing deals with out-of-state buyers and building a reputation as a modern, innovative expert. Their clients rave about the experience. Their brand is synonymous with premium service. They are working smarter, not harder. They are not just surviving the shift, they are thriving because of it. They are in the top 5% of their market. This technological wave is coming. It is inevitable. The tools are here, they are affordable, and they are getting better every single day. The only remaining variable is you. The choice you make today, to either dismiss this as a gimmick or to embrace it as the cornerstone of your future business, will directly determine which of those two agents you become. This is more than just learning a new piece of software. It is a fundamental decision about the future of your career. It's about securing your value in an industry that is desperately trying to make you obsolete. The roadmap is in front of you. The time to start wasn't yesterday, and it isn't tomorrow. It is right now. Pick your path, get the tool, and start building the real estate business of 2026 today. Because the agents who do will be the only ones left to sell to everyone else.